We live in a post-truth society, but there is still one glaring and objective truth for all to see. J.D. Vance is the very definition of the word tool. And like a fool, he thinks he got where he is based on some sort of merit. Well, he's partially right. He's really good at being a tool. And part of being a tool is being a really good liar. And Vance just got caught red-handed, flat-footed in a big, demonstrable lie, which I'm going to show. Video evidence getting caught lying that you are definitely going to want to see because it shows how low Vance is willing to go to get ahead. I mean, that's why he was plucked out of obscurity by Peter Thiel, who saw his raw talent at being a liar and a tool and said, aha, that boy's the perfect tool. So Thiel went up to Donnie Boy Jr. and said, hey, I want you to use my tool. And then Donnie Boy Jr. went to Daddy and said, hey, let's use this tool, and then we'll get another apartheid-loving, totalitarian-dreaming billionaire on our side. And Orange Mussolini said, yep, let's play with that tool. And then Putin said, hey, I want to play with that tool too. Use him to attack Zelensky, and then you have an excuse to cut off aid to Ukraine. So Vance shamelessly played a tool for all the world to see and paid the price. Remember his little trip to Vermont? Because amongst other things, it included this.
JD, how does it feel being Putin's puppet?
And JD has been hurting ever since. So for those of you in the resistance, those of you who are turning out with signs on the motorcade trail, at the airports, at Tesla dealerships, don't think for a moment you are a drop in the pond. You are having the kind of enormous impact Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries can only dream about. In fact, your impact is so big that J.D. Vance, being a tool, had to do something about it. So what did he do? You guessed it, he lied. And even worse, he used his children to lie. Vance posted this. Today, while walking my 3-year-old daughter, a group of Slava Ukraini protesters followed us around and shouted as my daughter grew increasingly anxious and scared. I decided to speak with the protesters in the hopes that I could trade a few minutes of conversation for them leaving my toddler alone. Nearly all of them agreed. It was a mostly respectful conversation, but if you're chasing a 3-year-old as part of a political protest, you are a shit person. Okay, so I read this post and had the same reaction as Democratic activist JoJo from Jersey. He walks his daughter? Does he put her on a leash too? But okay, I have to side a little with J.D. Vance about this. You don't heckle politicians when they're with their toddlers. These protesters were a little out of line. But here's the other thing I thought. Well, JD, if you weren't such a tool, you would recognize that it is the height of privilege and arrogance to think your children should be sheltered from discomfort. I thought that, and then I thought, okay, but still, the left needs to always take the high road. We shouldn't harass politicians when they are with their toddlers. And as usual, I was right. Watch this video of the Slava Ukraini protesters harassing this toddler.
You called Trump America's Hitler. What changed?
Cell phone video shows the moment Vice President J.D. Vance was approached by pro-Ukraine protesters in Cincinnati, Ohio.
People are dying.
The protesters were on their way to a pro-Ukraine rally nearby when the chance encounter with the vice president occurred.
My 3-year-old daughter now, and I told you, I talked to you for 5 minutes.
You signed up for this job,
and now
that's what you agreed. Yeah,
I did
why
not agree
people are
to have my
yelling at you?
3-year-old to have people run around and yell at us.
Right your wrong saddle.
Exactly. They certainly invaded Ukraine in 2022.
And
But there needs to
and
be
Georgia
a
and
settlement.
Chechnya.
Ma'am?
We are the aggressor every time.
One of the protesters later told CNN they felt Vance's post misrepresented the moment.
I understand that that's your view, and
No,
certainly
that's
they
not our view. It's the truth.
So did you see it? Did you catch it? Look right there. See? That man has turned his back in an Eastern European gesture specifically designed to shame 3-year-olds. Roughly translated, that gesture means, I turn my back on you as a sign of shame that your father is such a tool of the right wing, and he is willing to use his own child as a tool for his lies to try and shame dissent against his own disgusting actions against an ally who is under attack by a sworn enemy. You gotta hand it to the Eastern Europeans. They really know how to pack an enormous amount of information in one small gesture. I mean, I look at that gesture and I am so ashamed of the left that I rend my garment. Well, okay, so I wrinkle my garment. But yeah, there is no following Vance and his child, no shouting at them. Are there impassioned voices? Yes. But are they harassing him, following him, calling him names? No, nothing. It was a chance encounter of people who did not even remotely turn out to protest Vance. What the video does prove is that Vance is willing to spin anything to his advantage. And this video proves that Vance is such a tool. He is willing to use his own 3-year-old as a prop to tell lies about the left. I can't wait to hear him justifying this lie. Will it be his classic, I stretch the truth to get at a broader truth? Or will the mainstream corporate media ignore this and not follow up on a lie caught red-handed? The bigger lesson here is not Vance's lame philosophical musings about truth in a post-truth society, but that the resistance is working. All these grassroots protests that are calling out what this administration has done with Ukraine and the role of Muskmelon head in this government is working. They are retreating. They are resorting to lies. They are scrambling. The lesson is keep it up. Keep up the protests. Keep up the signs. Keep going to town halls. Keep going to Bernie's rallies. Keep pushing back. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.